Okay. Hey, everybody. Welcome back. I'm your host, Joshua Montero. My co host here, Diego Zuniga, is with me
Yes, sir.
on my right. Um, how are you doing, Diego? Excited about the
I'm
Mavs
doing
game that's
great.
coming up tonight?
I'm so ready. Need to come back. Have a good game in LA tonight. I'm excited.
Whose jersey is that? Is that kids?
No, it's like one of those custom jerseys. Wait, let's see. It's a Derek Lively jersey. Oh, my chair. Wait for it.
No way.
Yeah,
No
but
way.
like
You actually got and green too. That's special.
yeah, because I'm
Cool,
like
man.
it's kind of what's it called? Kind of useful for St. Patrick's Day, but technically this is like fake in the sense that like Derek Lively never wore this jersey because they didn't have it this year. But I just thought it was
Yeah.
sick. I just love the green. It's a good one. But yeah, it's getting kind of warm, so it was a good day to go go no sleeves for a minute.
Yeah. No, I just ran a 5K.
Oh
Um,
wow.
yeah, I'm out of shape. It's completely different from sitting on a basketball court, and my shin gave out a little bit. So,
Oh jeez.
yeah, that wasn't good. Thankfully, my body is still attached to each other, so
That's
that's a
good.
step in the right progress. But I've been dealing with shin splints since COVID
Mm,
had hit, so it was really bad when I was playing basketball. I thought it
yeah.
was my shoes and whatnot, but just flared up again. So taking it easy this time. But
Yeah.
yeah, I was really hoping to hit 25 minutes on the 5K. I ended up hitting 30. But
Oof.
hey, I finished this time.
That's
Maybe
good.
need to stop walking in between periods. That might help. So,
Yeah.
alrighty.
Something.
Ready to get it rolling? So
Yeah.
we are going to cover the Mavs and the Clippers. Sunday, just a wild
Crazy
game.
game.
Like I was ready to bet like the Mavs point spread because I thought there was no way they were
Hmm.
gonna cut it down to more than 40, and that's where the spread was heading.
Yeah.
And they managed to take the
Almost
lead in the
there.
fourth quarter after being
Yeah.
down by 31 in the first half. Um, how do you make sense of this wild game?
I just I think I think obviously the fans helped a lot. We were just saying before getting on the air is that you especially were just like the fans once they went down to 21, the fans are just like let's go, like getting hype and whatnot, and that's good. But it's just I think just the biggest shot like in the foot, just coming out so weak at home. It's basically like a game one kind of repeat in that sense where you just come out completely flat footed. The Clippers take advantage and just destroy. And I mean, props to Paul George. Like that is actual playoff P. What we saw on Sunday, it was rough. It was crazy to watch, and especially with no Kawhi, I thought maybe this is our chance to really give them the work. But and it's confusing. The Clippers have won both of their games without Kawhi, but lost both of them with Kawhi. Kind of showing how not well he is really with his knee. But it's tough. Kyrie, we were talking about as well. The hanging layup, just falling down, getting around three dudes, is just nasty. It's just that's the kind of shot that you need, and it sadly didn't work all the way to win the game. But I'm happy that we at least kept it close. Like if you bring that kind of effort from the start of the game, there's no way you lose that game.
Yeah, 100%. I'm in
It's just
agreement.
rough.
But I'll say this, like Paul George could have had like 40 in the first half the way he was playing. It
Yeah,
was it was
just
just insane. He had like I think he hit like 4 or 5 of his threes in the first half and
yeah,
then ended up with 7 with an absolute dagger in the corner at the end. Like
that was
he
nasty.
was just borderline unstoppable, and then at times
Hmm.
Harden looked borderline unstoppable. Like
Yeah.
there are at least 3 or 4 possessions coming down the stretch where like it's high stakes moments, and then
Hmm.
Harden was just clutch basket after clutch basket after clutch basket. And we have to remember this Clippers team didn't have a James Harden last
Yeah.
year. They are still a really, really good playoff team even without Kawhi.
Hmm.
And I think the Mavs just got to put in their effort, and they need more of Luka Doncic in this game. And I didn't think I'd be saying that. I think Luka would be the first to tell you that he could have contributed a lot more, but Kyrie was just absolutely ballistic, and the fact that he was
No,
matching
yeah.
George like stride for stride, that layup you were talking about, like he, he's wild, man. He's 101. Like,
Yeah,
and we've done a complete 180 on Kyrie since his Boston tenure and whatnot.
for real.
If I were him, I would try to stay in Dallas, man. I think this
Mhm.
was the team he was kind of envisioning, like when he was trying to jump ship from the Cavs, and he just never ended up in the spot. He seems to matured a lot more, and I've been I've been completely impressed with Kyrie, to be honest. Like
Oh yeah.
he's the reason why I give the Mavs a chance to make a deep run. Not because Luca's not great. It's because you have Luca and this guy and your weaknesses addressed.
Hmm.
That's the reason why they're live to put upon on Derek Lively there.
Yeah.
That was horribly timed. But yeah, you mentioned it. Like Dallas has to find a way to overcome their slow starts. Otherwise,
Or just
that
not
might
have a
it
slow
might do
start.
them in. Like
Yeah.
this is going to be a stressful 7 game series for you, dude. I really think it's going 7.
God, man. Just I felt like my life was over watching us be down 30. Like it's just so painful. And it's like I don't know. Like have it, like it has me just yelling at the TV like, "Bro, what are you doing? Like this is the
Mm,
playoffs." And like I understand the Luca thing, especially cuz like in game 1 or was it game I think game 2 where he yeah, I think he got a block in the end there, but you could see his like knees bleeding. It's an actual like a knee sprain on one of those knees, and he's not 100% at all, at least according to him and what Jason Kidd says as well. So it's definitely not going to be an easy series for him or playoffs if this is still going to be an issue. And I think that's the biggest reason why he's still not playing well. And like you see it on Twitter, and people say, "Oh, Luka Doncic is not playing well," and then the next response is just like Luka had like a 25 point, 10 rebound, 9 assist, like that. Those are just random numbers, but that's basically like
that's considered normal for these
yeah, like
superstars now.
that's just
Like you
like
expect them to hit that.
yeah, like that's just a regular day in the office for them. Like this is the playoffs, and sadly, we need a lot more from Luca. But I think a big thing as well to having these slow starts is the Clippers know that if we can't get in the paint, Luca's just gonna be like, "Oh, I can't get in the paint. Let me just step back three, miss. Oh, couldn't get in the paint last time. Let me hit it like a mid range contested with Terrence Mann all in my face, miss." And it's like I understand that that's a shot you can make, but it's not a shot that gets like PJ Washington a 3 point shot to get him in rhythm. Doesn't get Kyrie in rhythm, even though does he really need it? No. But like Dante Exum has been like we need a APB out for Dante Exum because he's not done anything in the series. Now also it could be because of that because struggling with getting into our offense, the Clippers kind of knowing what to do a little bit, crowding the paint. That's kind of what they did in the first game is sort of let Luca kind of sneak in the paint and just kind of let him shoot a difficult shot that isn't going to get anyone else involved. Because if you just have one guy scoring all these points on you, it's better than having the whole team in a rhythm, hitting
All
shots,
the
being
other guys are
unstoppable.
cold. Yeah.
Yeah, that's I think the biggest frustration for me is that it takes a half for us to be like, oh, we can just go into the paint and then create opportunities for others. Like, yeah, that's just this coming from dudes yelling at the TV, man. It's painful, but
That's
I'm
the problem the Celtics were having the past couple seasons because Tatum and
mhm,
Brown would do that a lot,
yeah,
and the ball would not be spread around. You at least want the ball to cross either sides of the court
mhm,
in the half court set, like
yeah,
once or twice, because you want the whole defense to get engaged, movement, not like ready to help off because you want them to help off of awkward positions so it creates more angles for driving
mhm,
lanes and whatnot.
yeah,
So, um, yeah, that's completely fair. I did want to touch on Terrence Mann. Do
yeah.
you think he's having an effective defensive impact on Luca? Because especially in this game, I've noticed Luca get very, very frustrated with the way like Terrence Mann is playing, and I'm wondering if that's something the the Clippers will use moving forward.
Well, yeah, I think they're not going to go away from this matchup. This is a matchup that's worked for them. But I don't just think it's Terrence Mann being a menace on defense. Like, yes, Terrence Mann is a great defender. I'm not going to say that. But I think with this Clipper strategy of sort of trying to funnel Luca into the mid range and have him like not able to make passes and whatnot, and have him have to make all the shots, have him work a lot on offense to then not not be able to play as well on defense, and it really hurts sometimes. Like say when it's a fast break, Luca's the last guy back, and instead of like get back, he just kind of walks up with his hands up, trying to like get a steal or something. That's not any kind of defense. So, and I can understand he's tired and whatnot. So that's another advantage as well for the Clippers. But definitely props to Terrence Mann. Like he's doing this on an MVP candidate, a guy that we all think is unstoppable until knee injury or like somewhat of a knee injury. I honestly don't even know, but uh, like that a good strategy, and obviously Terrence Mann being a good defender. So I think it's a lot of things, but definitely him being a good defender is part of that
Yeah,
nuance.
yeah, that's completely fair. I think, um, yeah, honestly, you need more PJ Washington energy.
Yeah.
That's going to help them out a ton. Get him engaged early. he's having a
Mhm.
massive impact. And I just think about like some of the missed dunks the Mavericks had, but like
Jeez.
I think Derrick Jones had one, and then like Lively might have had one. Could be wrong on that,
Yeah.
but like those add up quick. Like
Mhm.
you can't be missing wide open dunks. It even happened in like the Knicks and the Sixers game
Jeez.
yesterday. And it's just
I
like
don't
it
about
can't
to
happen.
go off when we talk about that, but yeah, like we've talked about missing dunks before, especially with Lively. Just like especially if you get fouled, like you're not a good free throw shooter. You gotta yam it down. Like there's some dunks that Derek Lively gets where he jumps and then he's just like hanging on the rim for not like a technical, but like he dunks it down like he's prime Shaq. And like I need that force all the time through
Yeah,
contact. Now obviously he's a rookie and that's why it's not as big of a deal. But still, it's the playoffs like we said last time, so would like to see that.
it's the micro moments that give
Mhm.
your team momentum. It's basketball's a game of momentum,
Yeah.
and like any little bit you can use to get it, I would say get it for sure.
And then
Yeah,
oh
should be a great game at 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern.
yep.
Make sure you tune in. Both teams knotted up at two apiece. I think it's going to go seven, honestly. No matter who wins this
Yeah.
game, but this might be the defining game. So you
I
never
mean,
know.
yeah. Game 5 is kind of the peak game for in these type of series 2-2 tied, so we'll see how it goes.
Alrighty. Let's move on to a clean sweep between the Suns and the Timberwolves.
Let's go.
Yeah, you
Oh,
are ecstatic about this,
so
Diego. I'll
happy.
let you take the floor right away about this.
Yeah, man. Like Anthony Edwards, well, a little bit in this game, but I think it what was it the first game where he just went off. That was great, and just seeing the Suns just crumble was great because it's just like especially recently hearing kind of like everyone's talking about it now that just like Bradley Beal, like all three of their best players are just the same dude three times. And it's like how much value do you add if it's just the same thing over and over again? And it really showed, especially in just the fact that the Wolves just out hustled them. Like they played with so much more force throughout the series. And yeah, Devin Booker had like a great game in game 4, but no one's come back from 3-0 series. Like what was my guy thinking? Like why couldn't he bring that out earlier, you know? But I just think a big thing, especially for the Wolves, is just the size. The size they have at every position. Like your worst defender is Cat, and he's still like 6'10", maybe 7 feet, and he's not gonna clamp Kevin Durant, but he's gonna put some minutes on Durant where there's a big body on him, and he's not gonna necessarily get exactly what he wants. And we've all heard the tweets and the like the interview of KD being like, I haven't liked the offense this year. I haven't liked my role in this team this year, and it's just seems and like the Bradley Beal, him saying, "I'll be damned if I get swept." Well, there it is for you. So I just think a big thing losing Grayson Allen as well was huge, but the the Suns just didn't have any coherence the way that the Timberwolves have, and obviously that's attributed as well to injuries. Devin Booker, Bradley Beal missing most of the time, but it's still it's a really bad look for the organization and Matt Ishbia, like himself. Like he's out here saying he wants to compete for titles and he just gets swept in the first round. Now it just wasn't a great idea to have three like max contract guys on the same team in this era where next year you're gonna get really punished for it, and you can't even make like trades with like exceptions and such. So it's just I kind of went everywhere with that, but just was really happy about it. And I'm happy for the Timberwolves. I like Nas Reed, six man of the year. He's a demon. Rudy Gobert, even though he like complains to the refs all the time, like I read that article about him that ESPN put out, very good article, and it's just I really like this team. It's a very good team, and I think they're going to give the Nuggets a run for their money, especially if they if they let the Timberwolves just like hang around like they did the Lakers, even though they could beat the Lakers every time, but I don't know about the Timberwolves. The Timberwolves have the size to
It's a
make it
late start for
interesting.
the Nuggets that gives me
Hmm.
pause cause, and I thought
Yeah,
the Lakers might have figured it out in Game 4, but then
yeah.
yeah, I mean we
Well,
can
they
talk
did.
about that series a little bit, or actually I think it'd be a good thing to talk about a little bit, just briefly. But I think it'll be interesting to see how the Timberwolves respond after last year, because I
Hmm.
if you listen around like to reports
Yeah.
and everything and whatnot, it seems like the last couple games that they played against the Nuggets in that series served as like kind of like a turning point for this team into what it is
Hmm.
today.
Yeah.
And I've been really impressed with Gobert. I've been
Hmm.
impressed with Towns. Like I never thought Towns could be the best player on this team, but he knows how to be an excellent second option. He knows how to complement Gobert. Gobert has been a willing defender. Um, even if it's clear like there's still like mismatches with him involved, the fact that he's willing to like understand that and still take on the task anyway and improve on how he looked in Utah says a lot
Mhm.
about the guy. Um, I've just been really impressed. I've been really impressed with Anthony Edwards to be honest. Like he's a,
Yeah.
like there's one game where he had like 15 points, but like he just had like double digit assists
Mhm.
because like he was just making the right plays the entire time. If you look at Jokic, if you look at LeBron, the reason they're so great is because they make the right plays. That doesn't mean they're going off for 40 every time, and
Yeah.
just happened to score for 40 there. But like at that in this last game, it was needed
Mhm.
because this the closeout games are hard. They're very difficult. Like
Especially on a sweep, like away from
yeah,
home against other
Ask
fans.
Boston right now with what they're
Yeah.
going through right now. Like that's going to be a tough game,
Oh
like
yeah.
because you're going to get the team's best effort, um, like no matter what. So for them to just trust Ant and one, it was nice to hit the 35 points in my bet for
Yeah.
sure. But no, and anyway, like he's up there. Like I mentioned last week, like he is making it difficult to decide a top 5 NBA player list right
Mhm.
now. There's so
Yeah.
many guys to choose from right now, but the way he's led this team and like the leader he's become on this team right before our very eyes is insane. And he's like the same age as me. He's 24.
Yeah.
That
It's kind of crazy.
that's very impressive. Very impressive, man. Like and McDaniel's great. Nikhil Alexander Walker, great. Like these, they don't have like the best, like well-known wings, but they do their jobs well. They
Mhm.
do their jobs well. And then last week, you get a starting contract
Yeah.
from
No,
the
they
Thunder
have him
making.
on a deal right now. Like they have him on a
Yeah, like
straight
that's going
steal.
to be very difficult to try and keep them on their bench and
Mhm.
whatnot. If they're able to keep them on the bench, this is why the team is a difference maker against a team like the Suns. Like
Yeah.
we knew the Suns going into the season, that would be a problem. They need a point guard to try and organize their offense. I think that will be the solution to a lot of their problems. Like to
Mhm.
know when to give KD the ball, when to get Booker, when to get Beal, so
Yeah.
they don't have to make those unnecessary decisions themselves.
Mhm.
Like it'd be an organized format.
Yeah,
Um,
it's just too much like
I hope Delon
processing
Wright's okay.
power.
He just took a massive shot just
Yeah,
now.
just to the chin right there. But yeah, like those three guys, like yeah, they're great mid-range shooters, but they're not used to having the processing power aside from doing their own thing of hitting mid-range shots and being that part of the offense of also distributing. Like Devin Booker, he was the closest to it, but he's not like at that level. He's not a point guard
I mean,
per se.
they can do pick and rolls. They know how to run pick
Hmm.
and rolls. We're not
Yeah.
saying that. We're saying like organizing an offense, making
Hmm.
sure the ball is getting swung around like other sides of the paint. When like Drew
Yeah.
Holiday and Derek White are doing that, the Celtics unlock everything on that team.
Hmm.
Like the Suns need a guy that's just willing to spread the ball around and like have it organized so it's not just like, oh, your turn, my turn, your turn, my
Yeah.
turn. Because eventually the defense will key in on that. And
Hmm.
like I think you saw the Timberwolves do a great strategy, like defensively. They
Yeah.
never like stuck one guy on KD. They threw a number of guys at him.
Hmm.
But um yeah, it was just a very impressive series from the Timberwolves. I think they close any doubts that they're like a pretender team.
No, yeah,
I think
they're
even
here.
both of us had like predictions that like, hey, the Suns could win this series based
Yeah.
on obviously the talent level, but I think the Timberwolves proved like their talent level is equally as good. It's just a matter of like who has a better team, and it's clearly the Timberwolves.
They really really impressed me. I enjoyed watching this series, and
Yeah.
uh, the jerseys were nice. I really like the Timberwolves white jerseys with the retro Nike logo here. That's really
Yeah.
hard, but that's all I got.
Okay. Celtics and Heat. I don't have too much on this, um, other than like if the Heat are not hitting 23s a game, I don't think they have a chance, to be honest.
Yeah.
And that's with full respect to them as a team. I
Hmm.
think it goes through Hero and it goes through Adebayo, and Hawkins is just not there yet.
Oh yeah.
As far as like getting playoff experience, I think a year from now he's going to be a very valuable player on this team, but
Hmm.
I just don't think the Heat have enough right now to
No, yeah,
counteract what the Celtics made.
yeah. I mean, to me, it feels like just a success for them of winning a game. Now, granted, this is becoming like an annual thing where the Heat will take a game one way, shape, or form by just smacking the Celtics with threes, which
And they
in
have
this
no
last one,
business like in
yeah,
being in that game. Yeah.
yeah, and it's just because like the Celtics just left them open. Like Caleb Martin, like we all know. You ask anyone that follows the NBA, they know Caleb Martin just for hitting threes on the Celtics. So you'd think the Celtics would say, "Oh, we're probably don't want to make him shoot threes," and that's what they did. And it's complete just defensive disaster like in that game. And I'm happy they shorted up and came back and won the next game. But that was I don't want to say it's expected with the Celtics because you know how they've been, but like it's just like if they win it right here, like fine, you did what you had to. You gave up one game, whatever. But I think it should have been a sweep. They should not have lost a game to this
Yeah.
team. So,
Especially without Jimmy Butler.
hmm
I will say
so
this: like Porzingis being out
that too,
and
yeah,
like
I
in a
forgot about
vacuum, that would hurt that team. But I think the rest of their talent level is so far above the water that it's not going to matter too much
that.
in this series. But like, if the Heat find a way to exploit that with Jokic and Nikola Jokic, or
No,
no,
Porzingis, Jovic,
Nikola Jovic. You might
yeah,
pronounce it Jokic, but I'm not sure. If they exploit that with him and then Adebayo on Horford, that's going to be an issue because
hmm
now this Celtics team doesn't have Robert Williams anymore,
yeah,
and they have. I honestly, they have a lot of questions. Like, do I trust Luke Cornett and Al Horford to
yeah.
completely stop Adebayo
No way.
and Jovic? No, I don't expect
Yeah.
that at all. And as I say that, he bricks a shot, of
Yeah,
course.
but that was I think that was a big thing from game three that, or was it game three or game two? It was game two. That Jovic guarded Kristaps Porzingis and Bam guarded Tatum, and then once that happens on the defensive end, once they get the ball back, say in transition, Tatum has to guard Adebayo, and he can't. He's not big enough to like stop him all the time. And yeah, so I think that was a big thing as well. Eric Spoelstra, like one of the better coaches in this league. He just, I mean, once a year, you will know like at one point that he's just gonna make the Celtics look stupid in the playoffs, and it's crazy. It's wild. Like he has no business doing that, and he's doing it. So,
I think it's also partially because like the Celtics play undisciplined at times.
hmm
Especially Tatum and Brown. They
yeah,
frustrate me watching them because their ceilings are so much higher, but they just bring it down with like bad decision making.
yeah,
So I mean, like against a team like Spoelstra led Heat,
hmm
yeah, I could see the Heat winning a game. Like
yeah,
that's a no brainer to me because the way like Tyler Hero gets open right now, like even though he missed
hmm
a shot, like the Celtics just don't have an answer for that. Like
yeah,
they're not organized on defense to that degree in the playoffs to handle like a Heat let because if you watch the Heat play, everybody gets involved in actions and whatnot.
yeah,
Most NBA teams won't do that. They'll have like two or three like primary playmakers that will get involved. But now what you're seeing is like the elite teams, like the Thunder, the Timberwolves, the Nuggets,
hmm
like they will get all five guys involved somehow.
yeah.
And like the Celtics can struggle with defending those. Like one-on-one defenders, I don't have any issues with them. I really don't because you got White and you got Holiday to
Oh yeah.
spearhead it. And like at times, like Tatum and Brown can play very good defense. And then
hmm
Porzingis is the great rim protector. But I'm just talking about if you're playing team offense versus team defense,
Yeah.
you can get Jalen Brown and Jason Tatum on a couple positions. And it might not matter in this series, but um,
I,
it
I
might matter in the finals or the conference finals.
I was about to say because even losing Kristaps now. Okay, who do you play next round? Orlando or Cleveland? That's I don't want to say it's gonna be a sweep, but I don't think it's gonna be that big of a deal for the Celtics either. Then you play.
But I mean, it's going to be hard to match up with Mobley and Banchero. Like that is going to be a problem they're going to
That's
have to
true,
deal with.
but
Like
I think they have a lot of
You could
inexperience.
stick Tatum on both, but then you got to figure out what to do with the guard play and whatnot.
hmm Well, I mean, Drew Holiday. Oh, what do you mean, like guarding Donovan Mitchell?
So like let's say it's the Cavs, right?
Yeah,
So you got Holiday and you got Garland, right?
yeah,
So you okay, fine. Put White and Holiday on either one of them. I don't care.
hmm yeah.
Who's going to guard the combination of Jared Allen and Mobley?
Well, I mean,
And
I feel like you kind of go small ball and have
Horford
make
has
them
to
have
guard
to
one
go
of them.
off them.
You know, like If you go small, you're gonna
Horford.
get destroyed by
Oh,
like
right, right,
Allen
right.
on the boards. That's why you
Yeah,
play
yeah.
Horford because like Horford's the only guy that gives you a chance.
Mhm.
Like Fournette's gonna be very difficult, like on the defensive end against Allen.
No,
Like
Jared
very,
Allen's
very.
quick.
Like
Yeah.
I'm not really confident in that. So
I don't
missing
know.
Kristaps like hurts them in that series.
It
And
hurts
then
them, but
like
I don't think it like takes them out of this series at all. Like I still pick them winning that series.
yeah,
Okay.
but I'm saying it can go 6 or 7 because of that. Like it's
It's
not
I
gonna
can
be
see it.
it's not gonna be like a cakewalk sweep now. Like Kristaps brought so many different dynamics defensively and
Mhm.
offensively for this team. Like he was a difference maker.
No,
Um,
he is. He is
that I
the
saw
X
really
factor of
for
this
sure.
team.
Yeah,
It's literally
like
like his body, how healthy his body is, literally determines whether this team can win in the finals. I think.
and because you have to sacrifice Robert Williams to get Drew
Mhm.
Holiday or
Yeah.
yeah, like you
Yeah.
get him from the Portland Trailblazers,
Mhm.
like that hurts that team. That hurts them. That's why I wasn't a fan of the initial trades they made because like Robert Williams is like an X factor for them defensively and Marcus Smart.
Yeah.
Um, they went very like top heavy when they made these moves, and it's panned out so far.
Mhm.
But the one thing I'm worried about is if like not having Porzingis turns out to be a bigger deal than we're making it out to be,
Mhm.
and that matchup's just constantly exploited by the Cavs, by the Magic, or even the Knicks, because even with
Yeah.
Porzingis, they
The
struggled in that last
physicality.
game rebounding wise. Like
Mhm.
that, those are the types of things that I can see being a problem.
No, that's valid. Uh I just think with how the Knicks are just losing players as well. I mean, Bojan Bogdanovic is out for the rest of the playoffs,
But he
and
wasn't getting that many minutes to be like he was getting like 10, 11 minutes.
that's true.
Like so, but it's you're right. Without Randall, without Bojanovic, like
Mhm.
it's
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 just
creeping up on them. Yeah,
it's looking tough for anyone that isn't the Celtics, but everyone is dealing with injuries, which is interesting. I mean, no team, I think, even in the East, is just fine. I mean, like the Pacers, they seem healthy, but Tyrese Halliburton is not Tyrese Halliburton right now. That ham or the calf was it calf or hammy? One of those,
one of
one of
those.
those in his legs are just not helping him.
Yeah,
He doesn't look like who he was at the beginning of the season, and that's fine. I mean, this is his first big year out here. Like I'm not expecting him to do what Tyrese has done. So. Yeah, but I think we're good. We're good on this series.
yeah. I mean, it's worth keeping tabs on with the Celtics moving on. But I think regardless, they
They can get
managed to
through.
close this one out somehow.
Oh yeah.
Pelicans, Thunder, um, Thunder swept them
Yep.
from right. Yeah,
Boom
and
boom.
that was like I think it was as simple as like the Pelicans need a point guard because asking Brandon Ingram to like figure out how to not get Lou Dort on him
Yeah.
was a very tall task, and I didn't foresee that happening. I
Mhm.
thought the other players would help support him and whatnot, and they just made a bunch of odd decisions offensively. They
Mhm.
played Larry Nance like more minutes than I thought they would. They didn't exploit the Valanciunas
In
like
some games they did, but
yeah,
yeah.
in the beginning they did, but like in the closeout games they didn't use him as much. They weren't playing him as much, and I was just like, that's really strange. Like
Yeah.
he's the only guy that can dominate the boards on like what the Thunder present, and that was not
Mhm.
it's not being effective enough. They couldn't stop Shea the majority
No.
of the time, and this was like the Thunder on a cold shooting net because like Chet Holmgren normally makes like
Yeah.
3 to 4 threes a game. Like he's and on the defensive end, he was just a monster. Like the
5
Pelicans
blocks.
could not figure out how to get around him, like at all, or like move the ball in the paint once they got there. It was always ending in like a Chet Holmgren block.
Mhm.
Um, but I think the real like story in this game is like how effective Lou Dort was on defense because that he single handedly flipped a couple games with his effort.
No, the Lou Dort went absolutely like maniacal defensively. Like he just went crazy. And I think that was kind of surprising to me. I mean, we all know BI is pretty good, but just the fact that he got completely shut down is crazy. And I think a big thing for the Thunder as well is just this series. I think was a coming out party for Jalen Williams. Like we knew like he put up those regular season numbers of how and showed how good he could be during the season. But the way he played in this series, man, like if Shea in the last game especially, I don't watch the second half, but hearing looking it over on the highlights and hearing in podcasts, like they're saying he kind of tweaked his ankle or something. He wasn't 100% at the end of that game, second half, and Jalen Williams stepped up and did his thing, and he was cooking, man. He's
And
hitting.
he was also hurt. Like in the first one,
Yeah.
like within the first 3 minutes, he got hurt, and then
Oh,
he
I didn't
came
see that.
back and he's still like playing monster minutes for that team.
No,
It's just
he's great,
ridiculous.
man, and like he's only a second year player. Like that's really scary for a team
Mhm.
that's the first seed in the West, having a guy, their third guy, be nowhere close to his potential. At least that's what it seems like. So that's scary for the
And
West, man.
Giddy too. Giddy
Yeah,
stepped up
Giddy
a
cooked in a
lot.
few
Like
games.
at the end
Yeah.
of the two games, like he was
Hmm.
hitting threes. Like it was just like the Pelicans seemed content on letting Giddy beat them,
Yeah.
and it turned out to be a mistake. Like he was on his game. Hauser hits a three. I need that. Thank you. Sweet. Okay, I have Hauser hitting two threes in my parlay, so that's gonna help.
Nice.
Yeah. But anyway, I think Giddy was making all the right decisions. Like
Hmm.
when you have him, Shea, and like Jalen Williams attacking the paint,
Yeah.
that's when it gets difficult on defense. Because again,
Jeez.
we talked about team offense versus team defense,
Hmm.
and the Thunder are a team that has that because pretty much they can play five out
Yeah.
because of the rest of their roster. And like Jalen Williams at the 4 and the 5 playing the way he is a hack. Like he's gonna
Hmm.
be a mismatch for any big no matter what. Because either the big's gonna be too big or he's gonna be like too athletic but not strong enough.
Hmm.
And they're
Yeah.
not gonna have the quickness that Jalen Williams does.
Hmm.
So it's an automatic mismatch. He's like a primary scoring option playing the 4 or 5 on this team, which is ridiculous when you hear that. And
Yeah.
like he's basically like he's playing like he's having the effect that Joel Embiid has for different reasons. Like Joel like dominates with his physical size and stature and the moves he can make at his size. Like
Hmm.
Jalen Williams is dominating his matchups with using quickness.
Yeah.
And that's gonna be hard with like any 4 or 5 he's matched with. Even though like fours and fives have become way more athletic in the league than they were like 6 or 7 years ago.
No. Yeah. Definitely. The last thing I'd want to say on this is just what do the Pelicans do from here? I mean, like just looking around, hearing around, like you kind of have solidified spots for obviously Zion, Trey Murphy. He balled out, even though this wasn't a great series for him or for the team.
I
Herb
love Trey
Jones,
Murphy. And I would keep them. I would keep Jones. Like
Clamp
I
God,
would not let go of Jones or Murphy. Like
Najee
they are key
Marshall
rotation pieces.
in his last game. He was first off defensively cooking and hitting some threes. I think he had like
Yeah.
he went 4 of 6, something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Jose Alvarado also great hustle guy. But I mean, CJ McCollum, besides the last game, laid 3 eggs. Bi, people are saying Bi shouldn't be on the team next year, and I don't know. Like, is it really
I
on
tried to tell you
him?
guys about McCollum. This is who McCollum is. Like,
That
I'm
makes me so
sorry, but
happy.
like in the biggest moments, he just doesn't play like how he's supposed to.
Hmm.
Um, so if it was me, I would try and package like McCollum, Alvarado, and like a couple picks
Yeah,
to a team that needs like veteran experience and whatnot. Um, and I would target a point guard. I
yeah.
would target a point guard that can operate the like if
Hmm.
you can get Trey Young on that team, I would like that move because you got your wing spot solidified defensively.
Hmm.
Um, you're not really worried like because you got like Ingram and like Zion as well. So like you
Yeah.
can play small and like Trey Young can operate in that lineup since whatnot. So like if you have like one defensive liability who's been getting better and better, I think I think that would be the move to go with this team. Now, obviously, there's different types of point guards you could add. Like maybe try to see if you could pry Lamelo Ball on that team. That would
Jeez.
be wild to have like the second ball brother try and make this all work. Um, Try the other Atlanta Hawk who's on the trade block, Dejounte
Hmm.
Murray.
Dejounte.
Like, do whatever you can to get like a veteran star point guard who wants out, or like I don't know where they're picking in the draft. I have no idea,
No, me
but
neither.
like the draft should be your last resort because that's very hard to find a star point guard like that late
Hmm.
in the draft.
Yeah, and especially he didn't play a lot in this series, but Jordan Hawkins, I feel like he had a good game or two this season. Just didn't play in the playoffs. I mean, kind of obviously he's a rookie and whatnot, but yeah, he's definitely gonna stay there. And I think having some championship experience at UConn, I think he could be a good player. So
Yeah.
he's definitely staying. But yeah, I think that's all for me on this. Yeah,
If you really want to get really zesty,
zesty.
try and pry, try and pry. Oh yeah, there was a clip I shared with Diego yesterday. That was super funny. There's this
Yeah.
one like player, I think he was playing in Thailand or something like that,
Yeah. He's just
and
mad
he
zesty.
was just playing with so much of sass and like
The
ridiculous form,
sassiest
like
dude.
going down the court like every single time he
Skipping or
made
something.
something. He was shooting a bow and arrow and like running down with his arms up, like but like constricted to his body. It looked really, really
So
weird,
funny.
but it
Yeah.
was so funny. And then the caption was like "Yaskball" or something like that, and I'm just
Yeah.
like, oh my goodness.
The
With the amount
zestiest.
of sass you play with, man, I wish I could be that good and play like that.
Yeah.
Um, no, but trade wise, like I would try and pry Miles McBride to the Pelicans.
He's
That is
been.
not like that
He's
is
been.
not like
It's not
the
easy.
best of move for point guard wise, but like I just look at him every time. He knows what his assignment's supposed to be. Like if you
Hmm.
watch him hit like the OT dagger yesterday and like the his role, like he's a player that's improved a lot.
Yeah.
And I would try and pry him.
No,
Or
he's
or
great.
somebody from the Magic because the Magic have a ton of guards.
The Magic
But
have way
like
too many guards.
like
Jalen
you
Suggs
just
is
you just
huge.
need to get a point guard that like can utilize all this untapped talent,
Hmm.
similar to the problem that the Suns have, but use them in
Yeah.
the best way. Because like Murphy needs to get 10 shots a game. Herbert Jones has got a better shot. Like maybe not 10 shots a game, but like give him like five.
Yeah.
Ingram needs his 15 shots a game, but like make them easier for him. Don't have him like go ISO pick and
Against
roll and like
Lu
the best
Dort.
defender. Yeah.
Painful to watch.
Oh, Martin was on my other parlay and he missed one. It was
Tough.
rimming around the rim. Okay. Whatever. But like yeah, like do whatever you can to get a point guard. That's gonna make a massive difference for this team.
Hmm.
Okay, but I'm gonna cover another team who didn't get swept, but gentlemen swept in the Lakers versus the
The
Nuggets.
most competitive gentleman sweep of all time.
Yeah, and that game four, they were like on thin ice. You could tell they
Yeah,
exhausted
man.
all their energy out there to just like not get embarrassed the second year in a row and get swept. Not a good look for this Lakers team at all. You see Darvin
Nah.
Ham's comments, like I
About
think,
D'Lo. It's-
I mean, I like it could be about Reeves, it could be about like Hachimura. I don't know who it's about, but like, um, I'm conflicted because like Darvin Ham's a great coach, so like I don't think he's the problem. I think the problem is the Nuggets are just better, and like the
yeah.
Lakers aren't playing like unselfish basketball. Like they're being stubborn and trying to go like we have Davis, we have LeBron, you don't. We're just gonna bully ball you the entire time.
Yeah.
And it doesn't work against a team like the Nuggets. It probably wouldn't have worked against the Timberwolves, like
Hmm.
even with their lack of experience. Like these guys like the Nuggets play so well together offensively and defensively. They always have each other's back. They're always in rotation. They don't get themselves stuck in disadvantages too often. And if you notice all the baskets LeBron had, it was always when like Aaron Gordon wasn't on him
Yeah.
because he would find the mismatch and drive to the paint. Other than that, they played pretty good defense, like team defense as
Hmm.
well. Like the problem is the Lakers don't play with that energy for like 48 minutes.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll have birds where they look like they're like clearly dominating the Nuggets, and then
Hmm.
they're inconsistent. And it's you could blame it on Reeves. You could blame it on D'Lo not showing up. You can blame it on Hachimura's. And like you could blame it on the other pieces than LeBron and AD. But I think it's also some of the blame goes to AD and LeBron. It's like, okay, we have a matchup here, and here, and they did a good job in the first quarter of like getting the others involved. But you need to continue getting the others involved throughout like this series and stuff
Hmm.
because they just made life hard for themselves by like constantly missing shots, like getting their guys cold even after getting them hot in the first quarter, and not trying to play 5-on-5 basketball. And
Yeah.
that's hard for me to say because that's LeBron's best skill set, playing 5-on-5 basketball. And they just didn't do it against the Nuggets. Like they did it at times, but it was very inconsistent, and um, it just turned into like situation like if they're not getting to the foul line, which was a common thread with this team, like they had an like absurd amount of free throw attempts.
Yeah.
But if they're not getting to the free throw line as often, like they don't have any source of offense. That's just the reality.
Yeah, and I think a big thing as well, a big reason the Nuggets are so good is that during the regular season, this starting lineup that they start these playoff games with had over 1,000 minutes together. Like That was the most played starting lineup in the NBA. The Lakers didn't have that for injury reasons, or like one of the things people are saying against Darvin Ham is that like he started Torian Prince over like I don't know Rui Hachimura, and like Rui even said that
But
like
so what? Like Torian Prince played amazing in this game, in the
no,
series
yeah,
too.
no, I'm not saying that, but like this is something Rui said that just like the Nuggets are the most like cohesive unit because they've played the most minutes together. The Lakers aren't cohesive at all because they've had guys in and out of the lineup, guys in the starting lineup, not in the starting lineup. They every year they switch out guys to try and get better. But the Nuggets, like, what have they done? What what trades have they actually done to change their core? Nothing since Aaron Gordon or getting KCP, and that was like maybe 3 years ago, 2 years ago. This is
The one worry with this team was like their depth,
mm-hmm,
and like Jalen Watson stepped up,
or Peyton
and
Watson,
then
yeah.
Christian Brown was like continuing to play well. Like
Mm-hmm.
Holiday's playing well. DeAndre Jordan like got some
God,
minutes as well. Like
DeAndre Jordan minutes are crazy in 2024. Like, what
yeah,
in the world? It's
he
wild.
looks like a complete mismatch on the court, but like on the offensive end, he brings like so much
Yeah.
like that you don't think he would bring in today's NBA. But
Mhm.
like just those guys that they have like that are like steady and like the way they get into actions, they don't blink, and like Murray's elevation in the
Yeah.
playoffs is God did. Like the reason why I fell in love with Dame as a player because he was just so clutch, and not a lot of people talked about it. And like Murray's become that player now. Ever since his bouts with like Donovan Mitchell on the Jazz in that
Mhm.
first round series, like I loved watching those series,
In
like
the
watching
bubble,
two young
man.
guards competing and whatnot. Now
Yeah.
we're seeing like Murray grow up to be like this clutch gene shooter before our very eyes. Anthony Edwards, like
Mhm.
doing the same thing. Like we're in for a treat. Like Timberwolves and Nuggets might be the conference finals. Like if
For
you
a
really
few
think
years.
about it, but like even SGA is coming on that status as well. Like
Yeah.
there's a lot more clutch shooters in the NBA, and the one gripe I have to have with LeBron in the series is like the micro moments. Like
Mhm.
you can't miss it. Like you're 21 in the league, I get it, but like you can't be jumping up and down complaining about a call at the expense of losing a possession for your team. You should know that like one possession makes all the difference in the world. So like there was that, and then I get it. Anthony Davis is an all-world defender, but if I'm LeBron, and these are some of the situations why I think a guy like Jordan, a guy like Kobe are better in these situations than LeBron. It's because LeBron would have taken that matchup on Murray and said, if you make it on me, best of luck, you advance. But I think he trusted his guys in that matchup to get it done. Um, and from my perspective, I'm like, if you're trying to win the game by yourself, like you tried to do in Game 4, why not go all in and do that for the defensive end? You had like 3 steals in this game.
Yeah.
Like you were clearly like making your mark defensively. Take that matchup on the last possession of the game and say, no, Murray, you're gonna have to go through me if you want to win this game. Don't put it on Reeves and don't put it on D'Lo when you're trying to fight for your season lives. Like this is one moment you got to step up, and that's my gripe with LeBron. He's unbelievably gifted, unbelievably gifted. I think he's the second best of all time. But like the micro moments like this, I can't help but overlook because he's had 21 years of experience. And I know I'm being critical of him, but like overall, like he's had an amazing series in this, like
Oh
against
yeah.
the Nuggets. Like to put up the numbers he did in year one is unbelievable, unbelievable. But like this is not the East anymore. This is not like a cakewalk where you're going through like a bunch of teams
Yeah.
that like shouldn't be like in the
In the
playoffs right
playoffs,
now.
yeah.
Like you have to go through most years the Warriors, the Suns, and the Nuggets at minimum.
Mhm.
And like the Warriors and the Suns just got swept. So, like and Warriors didn't even make the playoffs. But like that's how good the West. Like you're not just strolling into the finals like this. Like you're gonna have to have tough matchups like 3 years in a row. Like COVID, I understand that's one thing. Great on them for winning the championship here. But if you think you're just gonna stroll in and win championships just because you're on the Lakers, it's not gonna be that way. And you're gonna have to take a little bit more pressure on yourself, like in these moments. Like I understand, like LeBron's played a lot of moments and whatnot, but like think about the great moments where he stepped up, like the chase down block. like
Yeah.
against Iguodala. Like that was huge. That was
Mhm.
huge for this team, like for the Cavs. Like that's the reason they won. Like I think if if LeBron puts this to overtime, the Lakers have a wild like they have a chance. They have a fighting chance. But like just letting Murray end the game like that when he just did that in game two,
Yeah.
like that was just I can't help but think about that.
Mhm. No, I definitely agree. I don't like the complaint to the refs one. I don't like any player doing that, but and I'll also say like uh he did leave time on the clock. Like he left 3 seconds for Jamal Murray to do that with the Lakers having no timeouts. So
And they did have 8 seconds too. Like
yeah,
it
or
just
eight
seemed
seconds.
everything just seemed very rushed and like they weren't ready for the moment. Like they had 8 seconds to put up a shot together, and then
Hmm.
I think Torian Prince ended up taking that one right to end
Yeah,
the game. Like it was just kind of like no offense to Torian Prince, but it was just like it was just kind of like they gave up because like after Murray hit that shot, like the air
yeah,
just like sucked out of that team. Like they were done.
yeah. It's tough. I mean, to me, for the Lakers, it's a win to not get swept. Like you did what you could, whatever. I mean, like the best team in the league in the Nuggets. What are you gonna do? I just think they need to kind of retool, or at least just figure out either get some consistency or bring players that are actually gonna like help your team. Because I feel like D'Lo and Austin Reeves need the ball as well to play at their best level, and that doesn't really work when you have LeBron James who excels with the ball in his hand. So it's kind of just
Yeah.
confusing. So yeah,
Yeah, I mean, and they did make all these acquisitions to beat the Nuggets, like getting Dinwiddie,
yeah,
getting Winston. Like it was designed to get to because like when they got swept, they didn't have the personnel. That was the excuse there. And then like in this series, it's just like Nuggets were just flat out better. Like
yeah,
Lakers didn't build their team the right way or play off each other the right way. It's now they're gonna have to they have to decide: do we want to get a third star and try to go all in on LeBron, AD, and the
hmm,
third star, or do we want to blow it up with the ancillary pieces? Try to get ancillary pieces that are going to cut off LeBron and allow LeBron to be the passing maestro he is and the score
hmm,
when he needs to be and make down shots. Because right now it's not working out for them.
yeah.
Okay, all right. I think we spent a lot of time talking about this,
We
but
did.
Knicks and 76ers.
Jesus, man,
Wild game
wild.
yesterday as well. A lot of wild games that have happened, but like, man, like all the credit in the world to the Sixers for coming back the way
Hmm.
they did. It looked like they had no organization on offense, and then like Tyrese Max was just like, "F this, Joel. You're not
God,
playing good enough. I'm just gonna
yeah.
take it." Hit it from the K on the logo to tie the game, send it to overtime. Like
So
Brunson making
mad.
that brutal mistake. Like, I mean, maybe this is me getting mad because he didn't pass to Miles McBride one more time and hit my parlay. That was the only thing I needed. Jeez. But I noticed in the late in the third quarter, like the Knicks just put it all on Brunson,
Hmm.
and
Just getting gas. I mean,
seeing that gives me less confidence that they can make a title run here
oh yeah.
because their sole hope is Jalen Brunson
Hmm.
when you do a move like that. What happened to Hardenstein having his effect? What happened to Miles McBride playing well? Like Josh Hart, like making contributions on the board. Like DiVincenzo, he's supposed to be the guy like that takes pressure off. Like
Yeah.
and the miscommunication with Hardenstein, like cutting to the basket, Jalen thinking he'd stay at the baseline, like and like Jalen Brunson is taking all these difficult shots. He's turning the ball over a lot more. Philadelphia has a beat on like his dribble patterns when he gets into the paint. Like I think this is going seven to be honest. Like this should be a Knicks series win,
Yeah.
but like something tells me that they're going to continue to rely on Jalen Brunson, and it's not going to end well for them.
Yeah, I mean, like we said before about the Mavs, like you have it's fine you have a great player, but you just can't have him dribble the air out the ball. I mean, Jalen Brunson is the guy leading the league in dribbles for the regular season by a large margin. Like that's just what they do. And it's fine if he does that as long as other players get involved. But if he's just like skedaddling around, getting around Embiid and trying to like get fouls on him
And
all on
he'd
his own.
pass up like shots to teammates that are wide open to try and take
Yeah.
like a window jumper, like where it
Hmm.
will hit the glass or like a
Yeah.
floater. And in some cases he's fine. So like, okay, it's fine. He made the shot, good. But like, just from like knowing the rhythm of the game and getting your guys involved, like
Hmm.
that's horrible decisions that like worked out. Like it's a decision making that has like fallen off like in that regard. And like it's you can't win with a one man show. Like
Hmm.
you might be able to get past the Sixers because like Embiid is ailing and he's not being his usual aggressive self. He's taking a lot of
Yeah.
jumpers. Um, but regardless, like they shouldn't have lost this game.
No.
They shouldn't have. I think the way they ended and the way they played down the stretch was just eye opening to me because like once OT hit, I knew they were done because
Hmm.
everybody was like again like they got the air knocked out of them when Maxi hit that shot because they were just like what like
I.
we were just trying to waste time and like Maxi ended up tying the game like
Mhm.
you can't I think they're resting on their laurels and that was to me that was a must win game because
No, for sure. That was the
now you're gonna have
series.
questions about the last 2 minutes of the game like forget what else happens like
Hmm.
if you're the Knicks you better blow out the Sixers like that's
Yeah.
the only way you're gonna win the series I think.
And for me, all of the not all, but like a big chunk of what happened there last night is because of Mitchell Robinson. I mean, like you saw the dude like get an and one 3-pointer on your head, right on you, literally not even a minute before. And so you see him come off a screen, and you're just not even gonna step up to him. Like you know he's gonna shoot it. You know they need a
The
three to
only
tie
way
it.
they can tie the game is the
Yeah,
3-point
like,
shot. Like,
and I get Embiid was there too, but Embiid is having the like. I would much rather have Embiid take a difficult shot or like get a quick pass from Maxi
because
and
he's
have the
hurt.
onus on
Because
him to
he's
make that
hurt.
shot. Yeah,
Yeah.
but he like Mitchell just stood there, and I'm there yelling at the screen like, "What are you doing?" Because that was their game to lose. And Mitchell Robinson, also Josh Hart missing free throws, but like God, it just
Maxim was
frustrated me
missing
so
like three
much.
free throws as well.
Yeah,
Like that was it was just a wild game.
but I think big thing for the Sixers, and even if they lose the series, I don't think it's as big of a deal because I mean they're the seventh seed because of Embiid being out. But this might be the like in an elimination game like this last year against the like Celtics, where was James Harden? Completely gone. Tyrese Maxey, he said no. My superstar, my Batman right now is not able to do his Batman like act or whatever. And so Maxey said, "Fine, I'm gonna do it myself," and he did it. Like all props to him.
46
He did it.
points. 46
He did it,
points,
man.
man.
So like it's scary because my man is what 22, 23. Like and the crazy part is I think the speed because he gets some layups where
Yeah.
his defender's behind him like OG Anunoby's coming straight at him and he just says oh yeah I'm just gonna float this right before you get there and you can't even touch it and
Even
it just perfectly
Brunson would
goes
have
in.
got a charge like if Maxi didn't sidestep with it. And that was all his speed.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
he
and
got there so quick enough where he was able to sidestep Brunson and get
just
to the hole.
like it kind of reminds me of like John Wall, Russell Westbrook, like Derrick Rose speed, the type of quickness this guy has. Like no one can guard him.
But
No
like,
one can guard him.
but Maxi's more precise with his movements.
No,
That's
yeah.
the difference. Like,
No,
because
he's
the one thing you worry about, like with speed like that, is like, can you maintain under control if you have to stop and
oh
pop? And
yeah,
I think he's proven he's a great shooter from that regard. I
yeah.
think for him, the one thing I worry with Maxi is the defensive end. If he gets a more physical player on him, like Brunson,
Oh yeah,
like he's had a couple moments where he's got steals off Brunson, but like if you're not getting that, like he's gonna need help off of that. That's the only thing. But like the even when Maxi playing the way he is, like
hmm
he's sharing the ball with Embiid, he's trusting other guys.
yeah,
With Brunson, like you're seeing that at times, but like late in the game, it's just like, oh my goodness, like
yeah.
what? Why? Why?
Definitely. No, I agree. Yeah, I think we're gonna go. I think we still have two more series, right?
Yep, we'll wrap up with the Cavs and the Magic, and then after that, we'll actually wrap up with the Pacers and the
Okay,
Bucks.
I
So,
was about to say
yeah, so Cavs and Magic.
a big
Um,
game 5.
I didn't see Game 4 yesterday.
No, it's game 5.
Or did they play Game 5? Yes,
It was
Game 5,
5.
and Cleveland won that last minute, right?
Yeah, they won it last minute.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
think the big Mobley block on Franz Wagner to really seal it. Uh, I
Oh, I
think
did see that one. Yep.
yeah, the biggest thing is just I think was this might have been the first time the Cavs score more than 100 points in the series, and it's when Jared Allen is out. and it sort of makes you wonder about this twin towers concept they've been trying to do these past 2 years. And it's just like how much
I'll be
value
right back.
again. No worries, I'm gonna keep going. Uh, like how much value do you have when of your 5 guys, even two are just the same dude, or not the same, but like the same skill set. They're both centers. They're like Mobley can't shoot, Allen can't shoot. Jared Allen can pass a little bit, but it's just it feels like you have two of the same guy. And in this era, you're losing it's like opportunity cost. Like you have them, but you're losing the opportunity of having, say, like Marcus Morris. Marcus Morris balled out. He was making shots, hitting threes, and I was like, what did they do to Marcus Morris to make him do this? Like, this is crazy. And Donovan Mitchell had a game that's expected at home. I think that's just the biggest question for me in the Cavs is just like, is this Twin Towers thing gonna work? Is this what you want to like base your team around for the next few years? I don't know. And Paolo went crazy. Just hitting some shots that you don't expect a second
He
year
had
player to hit.
39, I think.
Yeah, he was
So
cooking, man. He was just like he would just get the ball and just say, "Yeah, let's see what I can do." Ah, no, I want to step back mid range in your face, make it like that's
that's his
crazy.
game. Yeah.
It just, oh man, he's a great like he's already a good player. And I'm
Yeah.
scared. I'm scared for the future, man.
Year two Paulo, watch out. Like he's gonna put up some type numbers. Like
Yeah.
if the reports are true about Paul George, like
Jeez.
if he ends up on the Magic, like
Jeez.
I'm willing to vault them up to the top four. Yeah, like
Oh yeah.
I mean they're five right now, but
Yeah.
like I think they can consistently be top four, like closer to top two maybe because of
Mhm.
like the surrounding pieces they've done. They got a lot of depth right now, but not necessarily like top end talent.
Mhm.
Like really good rotation players for sure around Paolo, and the fact that they're pushing the cast to this extent is insane.
No, yeah.
Um, I think with Mobley and Allen, I'm not really too worried about it. I'm more worried about Mobley.
Yeah.
Um, like he better have an offensive game that can space the floor just a
Mhm.
tiny bit. Like
Just
because
anything, like
Allen
a
can
wide
do
open
some stuff like
3.
like yeah, like you need to have that in your game, man. And like with Allen, like he's been such a dominant force on the boards.
Mhm.
Like I think you need to keep him. I think you need to keep him. Um, it's just you need to take a page out of what Minnesota did and see how can we make this work for like Mobley and Allen.
Mhm.
And mm, if you can't make that work, I think you have no choice but to trade Mobley and see
Yeah.
what you can get because like to me, I would rather have like Levert and like Okoro play the 3-4 spots in that regard.
Mhm.
Like than have
No, yeah.
Mobley on there. If it's gonna be better for like spacing, getting more open looks for like Garland and Mitchell, like I would rather have that. Like I mean I know Strus is starting at the three right now, but like
He's been
I think Levert can play the four. Like Isaac Okoro is a good defender where like I'm comfortable having him on like wing guys and four guys. So um like maybe it might involve like trading Mobley, but
mhm.
like I wouldn't want to give up on Mobley just yet. I just think obviously that's a thing they'll have to work through with that dynamic to help with the spacing
No,
because
yeah.
Mobley, when I watch him, he's like fairly inconsistent. Like he broke out last year and it's like, oh, that's a player. But like, yeah, you want to see increased consistency from him.
Yeah, and that was a big thing. I think B-Ball Breakdown did a video about it of how the Magic just went to work on the Cavs and specifically Franz and Paolo going at Evan Mobley, and
Yeah.
this was a good response for him of saying no, like I can't play defense. Like, I'm letting y'all know that I play defense, and that's good. I think it's good. But yeah, I think the only reason I'd want to keep Mobley is age. But even then, I mean, Donovan Mitchell's on a different timeline than Mobley, I think. Darius Garland, I think you keep him around, but then again, slightly repetitive as well, small guard.
He's a
But
great second option though. Like
yeah,
it's I would not be comfortable with like trading Mitchell away and just saying
no,
Garland, here are
no,
the
no, no.
keys. Yeah.
Like I wouldn't do that. But like it's just it's just like Mitchell's good at defense, but he's 6'3". Garland's even smaller, and he's not as good. So it's just like once you get the wrong matchup and Garland's getting cooked,
Yeah.
Mitchell might be getting cooked depending on the matchup. So it's just you know, like I think this is
I
something
hate
they
to
have
say
to
this
think
about
about.
Garland, but like he's like He's like a lesser version of Maxi, in my opinion. Like he also needs to work on defense, and he's quick
Hmm.
as part of his game.
Yeah.
He's a very creative scorer, but like if you have a physical guy on him,
Hmm.
you
That's
can
just gonna
shut him
cook
down
him.
offensively a little bit. So like it's
Yeah.
like if you put Jonathan Isaac on like Garland, he's gonna struggle. I'm
Yeah.
just saying he's gonna
No, no.
struggle.
Jonathan Isaac is just length, but yeah, no, I agree.
That like he would like envelop like
It just
like Garland, man. It's just like
hands
yeah,
are
like
gone.
he can't go anywhere. Like
Yeah,
so, I mean, maybe the Magic want to try that, but let's see.
yeah.
Okay, Pacers
Last
and
year,
Bucks. Bucks made a homestand. I wasn't able to watch this either.
I watched the
But
first half, or
okay.
yeah, the first half, and then I was no, up to the end of the third, and I was just like, I was like, the Bucks should win this, and if they don't win this, like, that's on them. But they won it. I mean, the Pacers looked disgusting. The Pacers looked like it was revolting. The type of game they were playing last night. Like, this is your
Chris
chance.
Middleton's the only guy you got to worry about. Like, how is he
Yeah.
cooking y'all?
And
Like,
Pat Bev destroyed them in the second quarter. Like, I love Pat Bev as much as the next guy, but you can't have him score 12 points on you in a quarter. Like,
yeah,
what is that?
great FanDuel bet though.
Yeah, no, I mean, jeez, that's a crazy bet. Like, if you would have told me like yesterday before the game, like, yeah, Pat Bev is going off this game, no biggie, I would have been like, no way, I don't believe you for a second. And that's what he did. And I mean, good on the Bucks, but I mean, like there's reports saying that Giannis and Dame could come back for next game, which I think would be huge. But like they've been
I
out.
think Dame more likely than Giannis.
Oh, for sure.
I
But
want to give Giannis another week or so. Like that's
no, those calf strains are tough. I mean, we've seen it now with Porzingis as well. There's another guy, him.
Dame's got the Achilles strain. Like,
Ugh, that's
and
tough.
even
Yeah,
that, I mean, I know how badly Dame probably wants to be back, but
yeah.
if I'm looking at that, I'm like, honestly, I probably would have sat out Dame for the rest of the season because I'm like,
Ooh.
is it worth it tearing his Achilles,
Mhm.
like, and risking that just to win like the first round series and be like at 60% of yourself
Mhm. For
when
the rest of your career,
yeah,
possibly.
when you're probably not going to play the Celtics most likely
Yeah.
in the finals for like another 2 or 3 weeks. Like, do you really want to take that risk? It's and then it's also how many years you have left because that could
Mm.
be at Dame's stage
Jeez.
like
Yeah.
career-ending injury. So fingers crossed for sure. But yeah, I hope it's minor. I hope it's
Mhm.
minor because like I've seen this before with Kevin Durant, and
Yeah.
it can end badly.
Yeah. I think. Well, one question I think, kind of last question I want to pose is just
Yeah.
if the Bucks would have lost last night, what do you think they would have done? Like, you think Dame Giannis is done? I
No,
don't think so, but that's something
no.
like that's kind of being spit out there. Do you think do you think they fired Doc Rivers?
I wouldn't be surprised, dude.
That would be so
Like
funny. Like,
that whole like coaching like
God,
process
man,
is just
yeah,
terrible.
gosh,
I
but
mean, I wouldn't mind Terry Stotts in the Bucks. I
yeah,
think he's an underrated coach. That like just didn't have the talent. Like he had to deal with like, and I mean, I love Dame, but like
hmm,
him with McCollum and Nurkic, like,
yeah,
and you expected
that's
them to beat the Warriors, like that's not gonna happen.
no them that Western Conference Finals series.
Like
I was
Giannis and Dame are probably gonna be the best combination that Stotts has ever had to work with.
no,
Um,
definitely.
and like
Easily.
he would make them into defensive force and then allow like Dame to control the wheel. And so like I mean, I would keep these four if possible, or five if possible. Middleton, Portis, Lopez,
Yeah.
Antetokounmpo, and Dame.
No, it's a
I would
reasonable
keep
starting lineup.
I would keep those five,
Or
and then I would try to I would just I mean if you can't keep Beasley, great. If not, no biggie.
yeah.
I would try to get like smart veteran players that have played like I try to keep Pat Bev if you can. Like he made
Mhm.
a world of difference for that team. Um, but
No, yeah.
yeah, I would not try to. I wouldn't fire Sale here. I think that's the worst mistake you could do after firing your
Yeah.
coach.
Yeah. It's just interesting thoughts. I think that's probably one of my favorite things when a team gets eliminated. Like, what are they gonna do? Like, what are your next steps now that you're here? Like, I'm just curious. Like, I just want to know. I just want to know what's gonna happen. Like, and then it goes into free agency. Like, free agency's kind of my not my favorite. Obviously, like trade deadline we talked about it earlier, but I really like free agency because it's just like, geez, Detroit people just like zooming in their cars once it goes over 70 degrees. But anyway, um, oh yeah, like free agency is just like it's a new chapter. Like we got new things coming. Like what's gonna happen? I'm excited. But yeah,
Alrighty. So then it's just reached halftime between Boston and Miami.
Boston's
Boston's up by
cooking.
22. Okay, so I think they blew out all of our expectations of the Bigs being a problem, or my expectations of the Bigs being a
Yeah,
problem. Bam is having a great game. He's had 21, I think. Um,
he made a
this game's
three.
like basically half of like the Heat's points. So we'll see what happens. He could always catch a hot streak and then like just make this a game again. They've done it in the previous couple games, so like we'll
Mm-hmm.
see. But to me, I'm thinking the Celtics take this one. Obviously, I know you probably want the Mavs to win at 10. Um,
Let's go.
that's gonna be a tough game.
No, it's
And
gonna be so tough.
it's
I'm
I think
so
the Mavs
scared.
take this one. I'm gonna also go with the Mavs
So
here.
real. Let's
But we'll
go.
see.
Let's go.
Okay. All righty. I wasn't sure how you're gonna react to that because I wasn't sure you're gonna be like I'm bad Gigi or not. But
Nah,
um, I
I'll
think
take anything.
I think the Mavs have confidence going into this one that the fact that they came up, they're gonna have to start strong. That's something that's not happened to
Yeah.
them in the past two games. So we'll see. Um, yeah, that'll do it for us. You can follow us at I'm on.a.mission. That's our Instagram handle
Good.
there. Diego with the accurate point right there. And then our YouTube channel name is I'm on a mission, 3 words this time. Feel free to like, subscribe, and comment on what do you think of these series. Do you think we're wrong in any of our opinions? Not great. We love you.
Yeah, that'd be great.
If we're not, take it easy, guys, and we'll see you next week.
Yep. See ya.